Welcome back to episode 103 on SEO Talk Spaces. We are going to talk about brand signals and AI visibility and how to win in the age of AI overviews. Now, one of the recent studies that we came across mentioned that uh, when AI overviews do appear or a brand appears on AI overviews, it slashed the organic CTR by almost 35%. But, okay, there is a silver lining. But branded queries still saw a CTR boost of almost 19%, even when AI overviews were present. So, interesting conversation today. We are going to dwell a little deeper on the entire topic, and this is going to be something interesting because this, I guess, is kind of a burning issue for most of us who are on the brand side doing SEO for various stuff that we plan to do, right? And that's where I guess we'll get started with the first question again. As usual, we'll start with the basics and then go a little deeper into each of the uh, nuances that we are going to talk about. Parth and other speakers who are on the panel, this one for you. How has the introduction of AI overviews changed the way brands appear in search results, right? So, have you seen some kind of difference? Uh, Last week, again, we talked about ranking.
Fair enough. I think so. I got his question. So earlier, I think so. There were logs from HubSpot, Ahrefs, and all of that. It was pure SERP, 10 blue links, 7, 8 blue links. If there was an image pack or video pack or something like that, still there were 7, 8 blue links, and we could identify the brands from their SEO meta title, from their URL slugs and stuff like that, which was the breadcrumbs that were visible on the SERP. Now, with the advent of AI overviews, so what's happening? Let's take a step back and try to understand from first principles. So what AI overviews does is it pulls up information from multiple sources to generate a synthesized answer. Okay, and if we correlate it to the normal SERP, since last 3-4 years or probably more than that, we were witnessing that Google used to rewrite meta descriptions. Google used to rewrite meta titles as well. It used to replace meta title with H1 in some of the cases. So things were, so Google has that capability. Things were already cooking, but the whole chat interface, the whole competition of OpenAI, and all of that kicked in. And now we are here with AI overviews. So basically, it pulls information from multiple sources and generates a synthesized answer. And it often attributes information that it shows probably to some of the brands. And in some cases, it does not cite at all. So no citations, just an answer. Now, for brands, this shift with respect to SEO is all about optimizing individual pages, kind of moving from optimizing individual pages to building brand authority that gets cited as a reliable source. So this is the way to go, I think. So brands have to adapt and kind of align with this shift. That's my take.
That's a good one. Yeah, Dipali.
I really agree with Part's point of view, but I also feel that we live in a bubble. So we think alike. Okay, everybody must be using AI for everything, but then there are majority of, like, there are such a people that they don't use AI. They only use Google. So I don't know, heavily, like, only optimizing for AI should not be the option. We should also be focusing on AI overview, even though Google is stealing the content without giving impression or clicks or whatever, but still, Google still is the king. We can't deny the fact.
Deepak?
There is no doubt that Google is going to dominate, maybe decrease a bit in market share, but it will still dominate the search at least for coming few years. And now Google has started rolling out AI mode in India as well. So of course, brand value will pay.
Oh, definitely. And I, in fact, received invite to test out the new mode of search over the weekend. I still haven't been able to dirty my hands over it, but let us see how the entire interactive mode of search works now. And I'll allude back to the question that Deepali also mentioned, or rather the point Deepali also mentioned, and past you also spoke about the citation bit of it, right? So, what does the term brand visibility now really mean, right? Because you still have to factor in a normal search, where there is also an AI enhanced search as well. So what does that term brand visibility now mean for someone who is building their authority?
Hmm, interesting question. And this is an important concept, important as well as not complex. It's not an advanced one, but every brand owner, every business owner is out there and wants to focus on SEO in their top three customer acquisition channel. They will have to understand that brand visibility is all about being recognized, being trusted, and when your brand should be referenced by AI systems. That should be the bottom line. Even when the users don't click, the brand should be recognizable. So earlier, what we used to do, any topics around CRM or stuff like that, sales, CRM, we used to get HubSpot in top three, top five results. And even if there were some new brands, we would obviously prefer to click on HubSpot in one more tab and at least go through its content for sure. That's the trust that we had on brands like HubSpot. Now, in the world of AI overviews, it's about when multiple answers are being thrown, and if that particular brand is being cited, it's all about, again, being recognized and trusted by AI systems, even if the users are not clicking. So it's all about your brand being part of that answer fabric, whether through citations, summaries, or any training data associations.
If I can go little technical on it, right, and this is again going back to one of the AHRS report or a blog that came out recently, and there I saw Kevin Indig also mention something, and I'll just say verbatim that brand search volume is the biggest predictor for visibility in LLMs. He mentioned ChatGPT, but say for visibility in LLMs. The number of AI chatbot mentions and brand search volume have a correlation of 0.334, which is pretty good in this field, right? And the reason I say technical is you need to understand the entire concept of correlation and also some of the offsite factors that play, because any brand web mention has a correlation with the brand of about 0.664 is something according to the report, right? So it gets very interesting as you keep on moving into the data and say, okay, it really does not matter uh, whether the visibility is just on your page. It could be on other websites also. Would that mean right, Parth?
Yeah, totally agree with the study. And I think so. They'll keep on adding more nuances to this study. They had a particular data set, and with the advent of new so because of AI mode and all of that, this study is going to get refreshed every 3 months. That I think so, because industry wise, the data is going to change for sure. If we take finance or health, it's going to change. But yeah, for sure, brand search volume has a direct correlation with the citations of answers for sure.
Okay, if anyone else has a different point of view, please let me know. Because the next question again becomes interesting in a way that uh, it's a strong, in or rather, any brand having a strong entity of itself, right? And if I have to say entity here, would be more like high authority domains mentioning about them. Do they have an unfair advantage when it comes to AI overviews?
Uh, yeah, I think so. This is a very controversial thing, but yeah, uh, obviously larger brands will benefit because the AI systems will be heavily dependent to train data from those brands, and historically those brands have been trusted sources, whether if they are sourcing from the historical blue links data, the CTR data, the overall traffic they've sent to these brands. However, there's a way out for smaller brands as well, who can still compete by earning like niche authority. So we had those niche specific websites, and in the SERP, with whatever blue links are left, there's no space for informational niche specific websites or blogs. But now here there is an opportunity, I would say. If smaller brands earn these authority and optimize content for those content messages and how AI systems retrieve those answers from heading tags and stuff like that, it's going to help them get somewhat mentions, obviously not in comparison with the heavy brands, but yeah, for sure there is some game still left for smaller niche brands.
So again, if I have to go a little deeper into this question and make a little controversial point, where should SEOs or brands put their budget in? Should it go to link building or just plain PR? It may not be a link backlink, but it could be just a brand mention.
um, I would recommend inclining more towards going for digital PR, and it's not important to get a link. If we get a link, there's no harm. Obviously, it's going to add some, or it's going to add value in some or the other way. But citations is totally fine in this day and age of 2025. But having said that, if there's still some juice left for your commercial pages, for those landing pages, and for those landing pages, for those calculators or product-led SEO pages, if there's still competition out there in the CRP for blue link CTR, backlinks is going to help for sure.
Yeah, Deepali.
I agree with Pat's point of view, and it's a very interesting question. And I also think that brands also should invest on social media platforms where their brand's discovery is organic. So some of the influencers I follow, they do non-sponsored post, and I have discovered very good brands through them. So we should also look into this medium as well, that brand visibility in AI overview time. It would be nice to have such a channel.
A very interesting point. Thanks for sharing this, Deepali. Totally agree. And looking at the FERP after AI overviews, if there's a specific niche where there are vertical videos being shown from YouTube Shorts, and now I think so last week Instagram also announced that their uh, content will be indexed in search engines. This is going to be a great opportunity to capture that SERP real estate. Thanks for adding.
Deepak?
If asked, I would go with UGC and brand mentions because there was time when search engines were crawling your website, indexing it, and then um, uh, putting it in the SERP. But now they are reading your content, and if there is any brand mention, they are actually acknowledging it. So I would go with brand mentions as, and along with that, I will try to get UGC contents as much as possible.
Good, very nice point, and thanks Deepali for bringing this one because uh, what I was also going to probably probe further is the entire game getting easier for larger brands compared to some of the niche smaller brands, given the scenario that you need to allocate budget toward digital PR or say invest in UGC content, etc., which is little difficult for a smaller brand because digital PR itself is at times can become little expensive. So what would be your suggestion in a way that how a smaller brand can start? Maybe not at a scale of a larger brand. Or rather, if I say there is two part to the question, is the game easier for larger players? And if a smaller brand has to start, what could be, say, the first two or three steps they can take?
Being consistent while publishing content, putting up content on your website. It's all about using structured data and getting brand mentions across platforms, as Dipali and Deepak mentioned. This will contribute to get credible mentions from third-party sites, and it also helps to ensure the content reflects expertise because cited by other. And these AI systems rely on a mix of technical plus semantic and contextual signals from these trusted assets. Yes, Dipali.
I really love the question, Malhar. Especially for smaller brands, how should they approach brand visibility in AI? So first of all, they should, maybe, I don't know, like in the two part that they can be targeting, nano influencers. So their brand should be more discoverable on social media. And on the other hand, probably they should start focusing on one AI platform to get more, discovery. How they can get more discoverable on AI platforms? Like spend a little bit more, like little small budget, and see with experimentation where they can get more visibility. In this direction, I see that smaller brands should focus. invest in not just invest in one, like one egg, like have a diverse portfolio. So especially, for example, I see a lot of small homegrown brands, mentioned by in this example, like Indian homegrown brands who are who are into jewelry, handicrafts, that sort of things. I don't see them. I discovered them via social media. And if I ask AI, I mean, I don't know, they don't necessarily have answer. So probably, invest small but everywhere, even if it's, let's say, 10% or 5% of their budget.
Interesting. Definitely. Deepak?
Uh, I think it would be really difficult for us small and new brands to you know get citation in AI overviews or AI mode. But with, as Parth said, consistent efforts, and I would like to add, like how YouTubers grow up, uh, they grow with collaboration. So here they will have to put some money in collaborations to get mutual brand mentions.
Interesting. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I think so. For small brands just starting out, uh, from what I can think, the easiest way is getting mentioned on listicle posts on websites like Zapier and stuff like that. So once you are part of that listicle is going to be pulled up in AI overviews or any LLMs, and that is how you can get. So that's a kind of low hanging fruit for the brands who are starting out.
And having good reviews on those platforms also pay off.
No, absolutely. So again, you say good reviews and all those stuff, right? I see. I mentioned a couple of web. Say typical for app or say brand marketers, right? Is this platform called G, right? That be better or organic mention somewhere in a place like Reddit.
Yeah. So the question I asked was, how do we measure brand success when AI overviews eat into traditional SEO?
Okay. Yeah, Deepak, you were saying something.
I think I have lost what I was saying.
Yeah. Acha. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll share my take. So we all know that with these AI overviews and stuff, traditional clicks is for sure it's declining and it's going to decline going forward. But what we need to focus on is probably we need to shift our focus more on dimensions, uh, the overall citation frequency. If people are searching through any voice assistant thing, like we need to consider all of those phrases that people can ask on directly on perplexity. The Gemini app on the phone works smooth, very well with the voice commands. And how do we focus on increasing uh, direct traffic indicators? So these direct traffic indicators could be people searching for a something on AI reviews. They find our brand and then they bookmark it, or in a way, because of brand, we can focus on direct traffic. And so there are handful of tools out there, but in the initial stage, probably some of them are half cooked. But tracking visibility in AI snapshots and brand recall becomes more meaningful than just ranking to the AI would be there.
Yes, Deepali.
um ultimate what I think is that businesses are doing branding because ultimately they want business, they want money, they want ROI whatever they are spending on. So probably I would see that I have started seeing a lot of posts how to measure AI bots, who is coming to your website, and who is like how much AI is using your content and mentions, and of course, and if somebody is clicking on the link and buying something from your brand, that would be very interesting measure cycle to see if we could able to do that.
Yeah, Deepali.
A few days ago, I saw a post uh, regarding using regex to find questions on through Search Console. And when I was using that, I figured out few questions that were way long, like 2, 3 lines. And I assumed that those questions were coming from Gemini itself because Google is tracking, I think, tracking Gemini. And if there is direct question about your brand, then I think you are going on a right path.
Okay. Can you say the last point again? I missed that point.
I was saying that if people are directly uh, asking question about your brand itself, then uh, from marketing point of view, you are going on right path.
That is true, but again, see, for a brand, probably that is just starting out, right? Uh, They may not have enough awareness of their brand name. So, how do we go about that? Because for a large brand or some known brand, I agree. The brand mentions are easier to uh, get and track both.
I think first step that Parth mentioned would be to get listed on listicle websites, and then you encourage your existing customers or clients to say something about you on their platforms or even Google. That would add up, and then you target for citation, and then target for question, direct question mentions.
Nice point. And since we are talking about the content part of it, and this opens up another theory that I want to probably come at, and it's right what you mentioned, right? They have a content, they put it in a listicle or similar format. Uh, what about repurposing that content? And what I mean by that is a listicle comes on, say, a third party site, and then they start creating a UGC or even their own content on TikToks or Instagrams of the world, using content from that listicle, and then they also create some kind of similar content on their own website. And so, do you think that kind of approach works, where you target a certain term and you kind of do a surround sound kind of content across different platforms so that there is much more noise about your brand and association of your brand with that particular term. Do you think that would be a right approach?
Yes, yes. I'm always up for repurposing your content with, certain assertive narrative about your brand. Like you are good at something, but Kate, say it clearly that you are this brand positioning that we talk about, that I am particularly this. And I have noticed that AI search engines or AI, Gemini and ChatGPT, they are using exact term for your brand when they mention about your brand or in results.
Okay, interesting point. Deepali, Parth, if you want to add something.
I think so. Yeah, Deepak covered most of it. Yeah, I'm aligned. No, nothing more to it.
Sure. Deepali, if you have. No? Okay. We'll move to the next one in terms of this again becomes interesting because are we moving from tracking keywords to more tracking the brand in our say kind of daily reports, weekly reports? How do you do that, right? From a reporting point of view, do you say, okay, here is the keyword that we are ranking for, or here is the keywords that we are tracking, or here is what I'm tracking the brand, and this is what our efforts has kind of led to? How has your report changed?
Um, to answer this one, I will go back to traditional link building, where we used to build links, and it's still relevant. We build links using a couple of tools which tracks unlinked brand mentions, the citations. We can do that on Google. We can do that on Ahrefs and probably SEMrush as well. Uh, so all the unlinked mentions and the brand context becomes more influential if overall. So it's not necessary in this AI world to get direct links, but yeah, brand mentions is also good to go. And tools like Mention, Brand24 can help set up custom alerts and which can help SEOs to stay on top of where the brand is being surfaced, even without direct links.
Okay. So my next question again goes back deeper into your answer in terms of, do we have new KPIs now to measure something like citations, unlinked brand mentions, etc. in your report also?
Yeah, I think so. All of these KPIs will fall under visibility, and whether it's impressions or funding citations or increase in brand search volume, all of these KPIs will fall under visibility.
Okay. Nice one. So I'll go again back on the content part and the entire, because you also mentioned something around listicles, etc. And we talked about, say, creating, say, repurposed content. So when it comes to our own pages, right, do the entire structured data and schema uh, help in terms of faster, uh, say, understanding of your content, or is it just that we are doing it so that your AI engines or the crawlers can easily understand your content. Because I know there would be many brands who probably don't understand the entire concept of structured data or schema, anything. They would just be writing content, repurposing content into different forms.
Totally. So, like kind of optimizing the content with the right format, adding the schema and the structured data is going to help for sure. And apart from that, uh, optimizing the content in passages. Last week, I think so. I remember I mentioned something around Yoast adding those AI classifiers into the HTML code. So we never know how the ecosystems are going to evolve, whether it's the whole WordPress ecosystem or the Shopify ecosystem. And so whichever are the major CMSs out there. So it's going to be kind of adapting to AI, and still there is no clear line. There are a lot of nuances to it. There's no clarity about LLMs.txt yet. There's no clarity about these AI classifiers into the HTML. But hey, we know that it's not going to harm. So why not add and probably help those um, LLM crawlers, bots, to identify specific sections of those phrases and its answers, respective answers.
Okay, Deepali, Deepak, if you have a point to add there.
Yeah, I'm completely aligned with the Parth here. And it's important to understand that structured data is not something magical that you will implement and something magical will happen and you will start getting cited in AI overviews. But yeah, as Parth said, if there is no harm and if there is chance of any good thing to happen, why not we use it?
Interesting point there. And that kind of brings me to the last question. If yeah, I think we can still squeeze in. We have just little 5 minutes there. What is that mindset shift that is needed for SEOs? Because if I had to take one of the old statement, right, the traditional way of SEO is dead, right? The SEO that we see or we are going to see is probably too different from what it was maybe even 6 months back, right? So, what is that mindset shift that is needed at a brand level, at an agency level, and at an individual level? Any thoughts?
Um, I have a perspective for like brand level, agency level. I might have to think from a different angle. But as an SEO working in house for a brand, SEO professionals need to for sure think beyond keyword targeting. It's a way of filtering topics that you want to write or the content calendar you are preparing. But it's the very step one filter. Like you cannot decide everything based on keywords now. And SEOs need to move their focus on overall brand storytelling. So setup processes, obviously SEOs are not always good content writers or copywriters. So they need to communicate it to the content team, or if they have any automated content generation workflow with probably human in the loop. So brand storytelling is important. Semantic clarity is very, very important. The shift from keyword research to semantic clarity, whether it's cosine similarity, whether it's vector embeddings, whether it's uh, any of those semantic concepts. And building credibility. Why credibility? Because getting those citations from known brands, from listicles, from Reddit, from Quora, if it's image heavy thing from Pinterest and other platforms. So it's all about becoming the trusted voice in a particular category. So when an LLM is being trained uh, for a synthetic answer, I would say that particular brand is part of the overall narrative.
Interesting thought. Deepali? Deepak? Deepak, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think our topic of discussion, that branding itself is the answer, that you will have to more focus more on branding and brand positioning rather than just building backlinks, and that we used to do around a year ago, keyword stuffing and all that things. Now you will have to position yourself as, you know uh, you know as a credible source, that I am the right person to answer this question.
Fantastic answer. Deepali, yeah.
Um, I agree with parts and Deepak's point of view that from brand and agency level, we should be slowly shifting towards from link building to building a credibility, building an authority, and also on top of that, the AI is not going away; it is going to be there. So slowly working on how to do AI optimization. It's not going away, but we should also be focusing on how to emotionally connect with our audience, not just building a authority, but how they are emotionally connect with our brand. So yeah, not data storytelling, brand storytelling, and how with our content, how we can use our content at such a level that they feel okay, this is the right brand for me, or whatever the values or missions of the brand is, people can align, audience can align with the brand. So we should be shifting to slowly towards that. This is the focus I see, because I see, as a consumer, I obviously, I want to look for a brand which is obviously they have authority, but also they have some purpose, and which is aligned toward my personal values. That clicks in this age.
Brilliant answer, because I was about to talk about brand storytelling, and that is what you nailed it. And say the most important thing is, how can I build a story around my brand, aligning it to a vision, purpose, mission, and my products or services. And if anyone can weave in that story together, optimize a bit, because the machines are smarter. They will understand it. They will give you appropriate correlation if your storytelling is good, right? And with that, we wrap up the session today.